Hey, real quick before we dive into the Hardcore Closer podcast, if you haven't already, jump over to hardcorecloser.com, sign up, and join over 20,000 sales professionals from around the world and receive free hardcore sales training every week after week that will help you step your game up. Now, buckle up, closers. Here's Ryan. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Hardcore Closer podcast. I'm Ryan Stewman, founder and CEO of hardcorecloser.com, and this podcast is dedicated to helping the sales community close more deals. It doesn't matter if you're selling cars, homes, financial services, coaching, consulting, gym memberships, pest control, it doesn't matter, right? This show is dedicated to helping you generate higher quality leads, increase your closing ratio. I'm tongue-tied as usual this morning, right? And show you how to charge premium fees for the things you sell. Before we hop into episode 5 here, right? We're 5 deep. We rolled it deep. Few of you reached out to me on Facebook Messenger, and I always appreciate when people do that. That's cool. You always say, most people, they're like, you know, hey man, really dig your stuff. It's awesome. I've got this terrible glitch in my life too, but help me. How can I do this? Right? Those are really cool, right? Especially the people that buy, just saying. Then there's the other type, and they're like, hey man, how do you do this? It's like I'm tech support or something like that. That's always really weird. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, bud. I usually answer those with buy my shit, right? But anyway, a lot of people from the last episode have reached out and asked about like Facebook advertising and Facebook prospecting. But they're like, dude, you got anything less than $1,000, bro? You hit us for $997 right off the head. Like only you would do that shit. And I made some sales, y'all. So like, there you have it. The thing is, I do have something for $27, more of like a ease your way into it type situation. It's called magnetic media. You can go over to hardcorecloser.com. At the top under the banners, it says products for sale. Just pull down the drop down there. Magnetic media is right there. I'm not sure that I have a URL, maybe magneticmedia.com. But if not, just go to hardcorecloser.com. Scroll down at the very top, it says products for sale. Just find magnetic media, buy it, $27. It'll show you within about an hour and a half how to do some serious prospecting on Facebook. And it's a product designed to give you a taste of the hardcore closer world. So we're going to come at you hard. We're going to come at you with some good stuff. And if you'll implement it, you'll make some sales from it immediately, no matter what you sell. So that's a good thing. But it's going to be up to you to implement it, right? It's not one of those things like we were talking about on the last episode where you invest $10 worth of your time into doing something and it doesn't work and you're like, oh, this is no good, right? You get out of things what you put into them. So that's enough advertisement for this. One other thing, find me on ClickSo. Sign up if you're not already there. Dude, the site, I've made it so fucking easy for you. 2 minutes or less, you can get in and out of there with your profile picture cropped. You can have all your social media sites set up and you can be searchable through when people go there and they want to find you and like someone's like, hey, yo, where's John Smith these days? They can go to ClickSo and they can find you and then they can connect with you on whatever social media channel they want. If you're on video, as Robert so nicely pointed out in the last episode, then instead of saying like, hey, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, just be like, find me on clickso.com/closer, right? When you're on a podcast like this, because you're cool, right? Because you got your own podcast, you got shit to say. Instead of giving people 15 million places to find you, just hit them with that. I'm at clickso.com/closer, business cards, websites, so on and so forth. So, Robert, what's up, man? You glad to be on the show today? I think we got a good one today, man.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm pumped, man. Having a blast.
Yeah, you just sound all sorts of energetic, man.
I'm super energetic, man. I'm sitting down though this time. I usually stand up for these, but I sat down this time around.
I'm really excited, everybody.
All right, so look, this episode, I shouldn't say this week, right? Because we spit them out faster than that. But this episode, number 5 here, we're going to talk about prospect CPR, right? Look, I'm glad you're here. If it's your first time here, before we get into this, make sure you rate this in iTunes, right? This is a 5-star show. If you think that it's not, give your honest opinion, but we all know what's really going on here, right? Like it's a 5-star show. I'm putting quality content out that your friend, you probably got it. If this is your first time, you were probably invited from the coolest person you know was like, oh, dude, yeah, I've seen it. This person says that it's a good show. It must be, right? So give us a rating in there. That way more people can find us. Look, my whole mission here is to spread the word to the sales community. If you don't help a brother out by giving me some reviews and stuff like that, then my mission is incomplete. This is me selling you to take action just in case there was any cloudiness in the water that we're treading here. Right?
Yeah, and whoever told you about this show should be like your new best friend now too. You know,
High
that first
five
time
them.
listener. Yeah, go up. You owe them.
High five them. So, all right. Hey, look, in this episode, we're gonna go over some of my favorite go-to word tracks and closes that really have helped me earn the nickname Hardcore Closer. And the ones that we're gonna talk about today are like reviving dead lead. So just to be clear, with like when it comes to dead leads, like when guys come and they join the Hardcore Closer organization, they go to sell our stuff. We don't just give them like the cream of the crop off the top, right? That's it sucks that it has to say that, but you got to earn those leads, right? You got to earn the Glengarry leads, right? So we give people old leads or dead leads. I've been doing this since 2013, generating leads online. I've been doing this a lot longer, obviously, but since 2013, I started generating leads online. So I've got Woofu forms, and I've got lead page fills out, details filled out, and an Aweber account from 2013. So I have a ton of old leads. Well, you can't just call old leads out of the blue and be like, hey, remember us from 2013, right? Like, you have to revive old leads, right? Through an acronym that I call CPR, and we'll get into that later on here in the show, right? But many of us have old leads, and we don't have a way to go back. And really, the money is in old leads, but we don't have a way to go back. And so what we do is we abandon the old leads, and they just sit there and grow old, right? But here's the thing about old leads: like they're still a lead. Right? So let's just take old out of the equation, or aged out of the equation. But there's still a lead. There's still a need. Right? I'm not trying to rhyme here. Shit isn't well planned out like that. It just happened. There's still a need there, most likely, because if you're like me and you feel like you sell the best stuff on the planet, right? Then whatever it is that they bought, even if they bought the second best shit, it's still, that their need is for what you have, right? In my case, I feel like they know I know that they need my shit, right? And I'm convicted with that, or I wouldn't put something out that's not the best, right? So CPR, again, is an acronym as a way to revive these old leads. We're gonna get into that here in a couple minutes. But here's the other thing about old leads is salespeople are, they think that they're no good, so they don't call them. They have no idea what the last salesperson said to them. They're like, well, I don't know what this dude said to him, so what if I get myself caught in a jam or a wreck or whatever the case? And so people just like, they just like leave them there, let them get old. Like your sales manager might tell you, go make some old calls, go call these old leads, make some calls, let's get it. But like, dude, like you're just like kind of left to the wild. Well, with my system over at Hardcore Closer, we plug somebody in, we give them our Show Up and Close program. You can check that out at buyshowupandclose.com, BUI showupandclose.com. That's our sales training program. We make them buy that. First and foremost, they got to buy the program. Then they got to take it, and then they start selling our stuff, right? Well, in that program, there's a lot about what I'm going to talk about today, the age lead revival. And the way that I came across this is it just, I'm always thinking of creative ways to get back in front of people. A lot of salespeople are scared to follow up. Robert, wouldn't you say that's the number one fear in sales, follow up?
Without a doubt, man.
Well, I have this theory. People don't follow up with people that they don't make good first impressions with. And most salespeople don't make good first impressions, or don't impress upon the prospect enough that be impressionable. And so they just don't follow up, right? And then they become forgetful. And then the leads become old leads, right? And so I like follow up. And so, but I like to follow up the way that the prospect likes me to follow up. So I'm not just going to follow up somebody and be like, yo, buy my shit. Yo, hey, it's me again. Hey, you ready to buy yet? Hey, yo, you buying or not? Right? Like, I'm not trying to be like that, right? So what I'm trying to do is find innovative ways that they will enjoy for me to get back in front of them. And hey, by the way, while I'm here, can I get some business? Right? So I had, we were talking about, the 5 steps to build a pipeline in the previous show, and on show number 4. And in that, one of the things that I did in the beginning was I used the company stamp machine. I went and got postcards from Vistaprint. This is pre like internet marketing. Went and got postcards from Vistaprint, and I dyed my dog pink, and I took a picture of me and this pink dog, and I mailed them out to every female, every lady, woman, realtor, whatever in the county, right? So all these chicks got this like card with like handsome Stewman and a pink dog, and the phone rang, and the phone didn't ring with, oh my God, can I give you all my loan business? The phone rang with, hey, how'd you get your dog pink like that? Is that Photoshop or whatever? Which led me into conversation, which allowed me to get in front of them, which allowed me to close them, right? And these were people that I was able to get in front of. So the reason why I say all that is after I made that first conversation about the dog, I still had to find ways to follow up with them. Right? When I worked for TexasLending.com, great place, did a lot of leads, but we got so many leads. I was getting 10 to 15 leads every single day. It became hard for me to keep up with all of them, right? I couldn't follow up with all of them. That back then, in those days, there weren't autoresponders and all the things that, or if they were there, we didn't know about them. I should say that. And so I had this is how I came up with this whole process, right? I had this old man named Bob Bolt that worked for me. I've talked about him in a previous episode as well, too. You probably hear lots of stories about old Bob. But Bob used to call the old leads, right? So we would get leads from Lending Tree, Lower My Bills, all these places, right? And Bob would call the old leads after they'd been sitting around for 2 or 3 months. Maybe we fired another sales guy because he wasn't closing leads. And obviously, if he was getting leads and not closing them, the people on the phone, they just need to meet a salesperson. That was all. So I'd have Bob call him. And what Bob would say is like, hey, it's Bob Bolt over here at the customer satisfaction department. Do you have 5 seconds to take this 6-question survey real quick? And I mean, they'd say 30 seconds or whatever, not 5, but he'd say you got 30 seconds to take this 6-question survey to see how happy you are with the services over here. So if we got the leads from Lower My Bills, we'd say Lower My Bills. If we got the leads from Lending Tree, we'd say Lending Tree. If they came direct to Texas Lending, we'd say Texas Lending, right? Because that's where they were familiar with that brand and what channel they came through. So we'd ask them the questions like, did you end up closing on a house? Did you end up refinancing? Did you, what interest rate did you get? What were your total closing costs? Are you happy with the experience? What company you could go for? And then the last question was, if we could beat all those numbers and still close on time, would you be willing to do business with us? Nice. So right here, you got a 6% interest rate, $1,500 in closing costs. If I could give you 5 3/4 with $1,000 in closing costs, would you rather do business with us? We close on the same day. We come back. They were dead. They were already like this, a fish on somebody else's hook that just happened to swim into my hook and fall on my line. Dude, we did these all day. Matter of fact, at first, my boss would get upset at me, the sales manager, Rob, because we weren't calling leads as heavily. We were just emailing them because the truth is we wanted them to go ahead and shop around because we're closers. As soon as the prospect said, yeah, I'd be interested in talking to somebody, asked the phone to me, and they never even called their other loan officer ever again, except for to have the Cavers number transferred over because they met a salesperson. But to all the other salespeople, those were dead leads. Nobody wanted them. Shit, we didn't even need new leads because we just go back cleaning house. And it wasn't just there. When I went to work for another mortgage company for about a month, the CEO of the mortgage company fired me because my check was about twice the size of his, and I think he couldn't afford to continue paying me like that. Which is weird enough, right? His margins weren't big enough for what he was expecting on his warehouse line. It happens, asshole. But anyway, I did the same thing there. Me and another dude. I had the other dude call him with my script, and then I was the person that closed when they said yes. Dude, we made a killing. And so I know that works. So let's talk about old leads here, how to revive them. The C in CPR is contact. Now, again, just like I said in the last episode, when you're reaching out to people, it's never just, hey, man, this is what I do now. Just want to let you know. Do you have any business I can have? Like, that's not how you get referrals, right? What you do is you reach out to them and you let them know that there's been a change. The person that was previously assigned to their file has left, and you just wanted to touch base and see if there is anything that they needed, or if they're in any situation, or if their situation has changed, right? The biggest thing, like in my business, I sell sales training, I sell how to make money, basically, right? So when we call people, if they applied a year ago, we follow up with everybody forever, buy or die, right? When we call somebody from a year ago, we ask them, so in the year that we've been trying to contract you, what's changed? Have you met this XYZ goal you put down on this sheet here? No. Well, what are you going to do to meet it this year then? Well, I'm going to do the same things I did last year. Oh, really? You're going to do the same shit that you haven't been able to get it to so far. You're going to do that. Look, man, let us help you. Right? But the first thing that we do is we contact them, right? Because if you don't make contact with the old leads, then they're never going to buy from you. They just continue to age. And then the next thing after we make contact is I let them know that the lead has changed hands, right? So our sales staff lets them know that the lead has changed hands. That person is no longer with us, because then that person can go, good, because I've been wanting to buy your shit for forever, but he's a fucking idiot, right? Like that might be the response you get sometime. Good, because I didn't like that salesperson anyway. I'm glad you fired him, right? That automatically gives you a bond with them. Yes, they were terrible. They should have closed you 6 months ago. I apologize, but I'm here now to solve your problems. Please tell me. Which brings us to P, which is problem search, right? The way that you find people's problems isn't by talking to them. We've talked about this in every damn episode that I've done of this so far. But by problem search, you ask questions and shut your mouth. He who does the least amount of talking makes the most amount of commissions. So once you contact them, you ask them, is the XYZ problem that you inquired about in the first place, has that been solved? Well, what measures have you taken since you applied here to solve that problem? And how have those failed you? Not what worked about them. Fuck what worked. If they worked, we wouldn't be having this conversation. He would say everything's perfect and hung up on me, right? But I'm going to ask what didn't work? Where did they fail you? I'm going to use that specific word track. What the other measures that you've done to solve this problem, where do you believe they failed you? Because that's exactly what they did. And I want to twist that knife and we hate that word failure. Fucking hate it. Embrace it though, because if you're going to be successful, you got to embrace it. But most people hate it. They fear it. And so when you use that word, they have to admit that they did fail. Shit, didn't work. Well, that's not really failure. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, it is. It's failure, bro. Sorry to tell you. Yeah, there's no denying that shit. But anyway, so from there, I'm going to let them know that they failed at it, right? And then they're usually going to tell me why they failed at it pretty openly. And so from there, I'm learning the things that I'm learning their problem. I'm learning the real reason, right? The real reason they showed up on my car lot, it's not because they need a new car. It's because they're about to have a kid and they got to get rid of the Mustang and trade it in for a Fusion, right? The real reason they're calling me about their mortgage refinance isn't because they want to save $200 a month. It's because their kid is about 4 years away from college and they don't have a dime put back in his college pay plan. The reason they're reaching out to me isn't because they want me to sell them a house because they just decided to up and pack all their shit in little boxes, be miserable and cuss at each other for 3 days and make a trip across country from one place to another. No, it's because their son has asthma and they're relocating over to the desert where he can breathe clearly. And they just want to make sure that it's as smooth and easy as possible to make the trip from South Carolina to the desert, whatever, right? But if you don't problem search, if you don't find that, you can't figure out how you can pair your product, the triple P, right? Pair your product with their problem. But if you don't find their problem, if you don't ask them questions, and really when you're going through CPR, you contacted them, you're doing the problem search, you're trying to find out if the problem that they had whenever they were a new lead is still the existing problem that they have now that they're an old lead. And if it is, that is a gold lead, right? Because it's 6 months and your shit's still fucked up, right? Well, what all have you done to fix that? Geez, really? Tell me more. So what are you going to do in the future? Oh, really? Well, how's that work? It sounds like you just be repeating the same thing over and over. You know, that's what crazy people do. They've got pills for that. But if you don't uncover those problems, you don't ask questions, you'll never know. And recommend the solution. Well, here's the deal. I know you've got this problem. The problem hasn't changed in 6 months. The solution's still the same. We've got a sales funnel, bfadigital.com. You can watch a video within an hour, have all of your stuff set up, running, everything else. Within an hour, have a sales funnel that spits out leads at $25 a day, 6 to 7 leads a day, like clockwork, if you just follow the program. You can quit bitching about your problem. You can quit saying you don't have leads. You can quit saying that you don't have people to talk to, that you're a good salespeople. You're a good salesperson. You just need somebody else to talk to. Here's a way that for $9.97, you can solve that problem. If you would have paid this $9.97 6 months ago, you'd again been paid for the last 5 months the way that you wanted to, versus sitting here. Now we're 6 months later. Now you're 6 months broker, and now you're having to make a tougher decision. I'm going to recommend the solution for you. See, that's the conversation you have with these old leads. It's like, hey, the old leads are the best, right? Because if they haven't got their problem solved, they're fucking wide open for the taking. And guess what? Most salespeople don't follow up. We already discussed that in the beginning. So most old leads are wide the fuck open. I want you to think about something for a minute. Unless you're driving or on a treadmill, close your eyes. And imagine all these leads that you have that you haven't followed up with because you know they're out there. Don't you lie to me. Don't you lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself. There's a shit ton of leads that you ain't following up with. There's a lot of money you're leaving on the table. They're all out there choking. They just need you to give them some CPR. That's it. They're all out there choking, waiting on you to come revive them, come bring them back from the dead and solve their problem, right? Their problem is they're choking. They're going to get you to do the Heimlich maneuver on them and put them right back to normal life, the way everything's happy and they feel good again, right? But if you don't contact them, find their problem, and recommend your shit as the solution, they're not going to come back, right? They're going to choke and die. That's not good, right? We always want everybody to buy. We don't want them to die. That's just we say buy or die, right, as salespeople, but dead prospects don't do us any good. Dead leads don't do us any good. Old leads can become gold leads, like I talked about. Dead prospects, no good. So, hey, if you dig this, again, like I said in the beginning, we got magnetic media. Just go over to hardcorecloser.com, look under products for sale. It's at the very top, and pull up magnetic media. It's $27. I got books for sale on Amazon. Like over there to Amazon, just type in my name, Ryan Stewman, or type in Hardcore Closer. 3 books pull up. Business book, best business book I got is Bulletproof Business. If you want to read the story about my life by Hardcore Closer, if you want to be really cool and awesome and look impressive in front of all your friends, buy 10 copies of all 3 books, because kick-ass take names, email addresses, and phone number is the bomb diggity as well. Listen, today, my challenge to you when you get to work, or tomorrow if you're listening to this in the nighttime and you're about to go to work, man, go get those old leads and get your paycheck, right? Go get in contact with the old leads, close them, make some commissions from them, and then go get you something nice, right? You smart. You buy your whole family a house, right? Like my DJ Khaled thing. But for the fruits of your labor, treat yourself to something nice, right? Go out there, make commissions from leads that you thought were dead, that you couldn't close, and then reward yourself. Because what happens is and I'm not saying go buy yourself like, 10,000, whatever, man. If you sell net jets, that may be your thing. Make a bunch of money, right? Depending on what you sell, go out there and buy something that's applicable, something that makes you feel good. That way you start getting that association. Old leads, gold leads, shit for me. Old lead, gold lead, shit for me, right? Like old leads are good leads, and then you're always rewarding yourself with every one of them that you close. That way it'll encourage you psychologically, like Pavlov's dogs, to go out there and make some more of those calls to old leads so that you can make some more closes while everybody else abandons their command. So anything you want to add before we hop out of here, Robert?
Nah, man. Great episode, bro. Liked it.
So cool. I think we kept it within 20 minutes too. That's
yeah,
right.
Man.
Fucking A. So, hey, find me, Clixo, CLYXO.com/closer. Find Robert, the producer, at Clixo.com/RW. And that's it for us closers. Let's go make some sales.